The first thing I can ever remember wanting to do was to own and run a farm. But I had always thought that that would be impossible, especially while I was still young enough to do the work. My great-grandparents had a 5-acre production farm. We had an orchard, bees, livestock. To me, that was normal life. And I don't really ever want to live any other way. My family and I had been looking at this farm, but didn't see it as something that was possible for us. But through working with the North Coast Brewing Company, we were able to make it happen. Now, my family and I are living on the farm. We run a small compost operation using the spent grain, hops, and yeast slurry from the brewing company.
Breweries in other parts of the country typically sell their spent grain to cattle farmers, and the farmers end up with an inexpensive feed for their cattle. Because that type of agriculture isn't really practiced on the Mendocino coast, we were forced from the beginning to explore other options.
The brewery truck comes a couple times every day and delivers spent grain, hops, or yeast slurry. And we mix in some redwood sawdust, wood chips, carbon material, and we aerate the material and add oxygen to it. The finished result of combining all of these materials together is you're creating a stable microbial environment that has a high population of soil microorganisms. And what those can do is they can work with the root systems of plants. They can help them pull atmospheric carbon and nitrogen out of the air and sequester it in the ground. Just a little bit of compost makes a huge difference in a soil's overall carrying ability for carbon.
Carbon farming is reimagining that connection where every bite we eat is actually climate beneficial, that bite was grown in a way that is sequestering carbon into our soils where it is of greatest benefit to all of life.
Along with the 6 tons a week of spent grain that we send to the farm for composting, we're also delivering waste beer just to be spread on the fields as fertilizer. We refer to as beerigation.
Our primary focus is growing soil, but the best way to express that is to also grow produce. The naturally balanced levels of nitrogen and phosphorus that come from the spent grain compost are amazing for fruiting plants. So we grow a mixed variety of produce year-round on the farm, and it goes to North Coast Brewing Company's tap room. And we also do several farmers markets and some other wholesale accounts like natural food stores.
The example that we're setting for other breweries is that there are ways to responsibly deal with a waste stream. In the process, we're making beautiful compost out of our spent grain. Gowan is growing amazing vegetables on her farm. We're providing lovely fresh produce for our restaurant, and we're sequestering carbon.
To be in this position as a young farmer, to be able to say that I own my land, that I'm in partnership with a brewing company, it's an absolute dream situation.